Hello everybody, and welcome back to another beautiful day in the world of Azur. Today, I wanted to go over a few tips and tricks on how to get the Combat Data Collection 1 and 2 as quickly as you possibly can. Yesterday, PR5 came out. I made a bit of a mistake. I started with Breast, but then I realized I actually wanted to get Polymouth first. So I switched to Polymouth. So I am a day behind. As you can see for Breast, I did complete it. There are two types of collections. One of them is you're using different factions' main fleet, and then sometimes you'll also get ships, Vanguard ships, not main. Now, main fleet is significantly easier to level up because not only does your flagship over here in the formations, this ship right here, your flagship, will get more experience than all of your other ships, but also more likely than not, your main ships, so the ships in the back, are more likely than not going to be taking MVP, and it is a little challenging to find a proper setup of Vanguard ships so that one of your 3 Vanguard ships will be taking MVP every single fight. The first step of figuring out the best way to get MVP for your Vanguard ship is the map that you're fighting. Now, they added in a brand new system a while ago, actually, a couple months ago, called cost limit. Now, cost limit is down here. You must first clear the mission that you want to grind for this experience, and cost limit is going to be so helpful, and it's going to allow you to get the experience quickly instead of over a long period of time. So pretty much what this cost limit does is whenever you are fighting a mission like 9-1 here, and if you were wondering why 9-1, it's because that's the cutoff. 8, 4, and down don't have cost limit. As you can see down here, there's no cost limit. It starts in chapter 9. And pretty much what it does is it allows you to use really large fleets and not spend a lot of oil. This fleet right here, I call it the shock fleet. That's fleet 5. Usually costs me 78 oil. Top right here. 78 oil to use in a fight. So every single mob fleet or boss fleet that I fight, I have to use 78 oil. But if I come over here to 7-1 and I go and use the same fleet, shock fleet, and I go fight a random fleet, it's only going to cost 78. If I click here, the fuel cost would have been 78, but now it's 27. So it's really useful for getting large amount of experience, because even though I'm not using 78 oil, I'm still getting experience for all these ships. Now this system is really nice because it will allow you to simply use all of these ships. Like, let's imagine they were all Royal Navy. I'm getting a lot of pretty much free experience. I'm sorting ships that aren't costing me anything. The only two ships that this fleet is really costing me is Frederick and Drake. The rest of these ships are all free, which is really nice. Now, because of this system, there are a few ships. The one I know off at the top of my head is a common. Right down. Where is she? Oh. I think, yeah, here she is. There are a few ships in the game. I think there's only 4, maybe 5 of them, that give experience, that increase a certain type of ship's experience gain. Now, this was useful, but it's no longer useful. I highly recommend not using these ships anymore. Just use the cost limit. Because why would I use this ship maxed out? It gives 15% experience. Why would I get 15% more experience for carriers whenever I can just use another Royal Navy ship? You know? So I highly recommend not using these ships. They're not worth it anymore. If actually, even if you were using like only 2 ships in a fleet, it still wouldn't be worth using her. Because if you put her in 2, you'll be going over the cost limit. And then why not just use a different ship that'll give you another 1,000 experience instead of maybe an extra 100. Anyways, a few maps that I highly recommend grinding out is 9-4. 9-4 is a very good experience map. And the other one, which is more for high level ships, level 110 and up, is 11-4. Now, 11-4, you can kind of forget about getting your Vanguard ships the MVP. It's not going to happen. You need a carry to consistently beat this mission, especially if you are doing all enemies. If you're doing escort flagship, it's kind of doable to get your Vanguard ships MVP, but I highly recommend doing all enemies so then they get that large experience bonus killing the boss. Anyways, another one, if you're watching this really close to the update, is HT6, which is part of the Dreamwalker's Butterfly, which is a rerun event that's happening right now. This is the mission that I'm grinding out with this fleet down here. As you can see, I'm not going for MVP. I always have a significant amount of oil, and it's a little difficult to get Royal Navy ships to out damage even just normal main ships. Vampire can steal MVP if I wasn't using New Jersey or Perseus, but it doesn't happen that often, so I just kind of gave up. They kept sinking, and I'd rather them not sink and finish the map without the MVP than them sink. And then the last one that I had recommend doing is right down here in the War Archive. Iris of Light and Dark. D2. D2 also has cost limit. It gives you one of the best destroyer guns in the entire game, and it gives some very good experience. So this is the last one that I'd recommend doing. Next, I want to talk about actual ships, like actual types of ships that you can use to steal MVP, and that is destroyers. Torpedo-based destroyers will out DPS almost any other Vanguard ship in the game. Now, if you're using main ships with gray weapons, then they can outdamage them as well. Right now, I'm going for Royal Navy. And Royal Navy does not have many good torpedo-based ships. It's just not really something they do. But a few of them that I do recommend: Vampire, Jervis, Javelin, Acasta, and Amazon. These 5 ships are all torpedo based. Acasta, you might be thinking, well, why? It's because she can be retrofitted, and she does have an extremely high torpedo stat for her rarity. So it makes her actually pretty decent. Plus, she gets 3 skills once retrofitted, which is insane. It gives her a lot of versatility. Vampire is just straight up torpedoes. Her entire kit is revolved around torpedoes. And Jervis isn't really torpedo based, but she does do a good job at damage just because of her different skills and abilities, and she can also heal, and she does well with a lot of other Royal Navy ships in a fleet, which you're gonna want to do because you want Royal Navy experience. Now, because Royal Navy has such bad ships, well, bad destroyers, Drake, oh wait one second, Drake is extremely powerful. If you have her, she can steal MVP quite often. Neptune is another really good option. And then finally, London, who is also fairly competent at fishing out damage. But that's about it. The rest of them are gonna struggle to outdamage main ships. So that's just about everything that I could think of. Just to go over it again, the first thing you want to do is figure out what map you want to grind out. The second thing you want to do is figure out what ships you want to use. And the third thing you need to figure out is if you actually want to go for MVP or not. If you do, then it's all about gear. Just switch out your main ship's gear with something really bad and hope you win. It's gonna take a lot of trial and error. Personally, I recommend doing the easy way. If you don't really care about being super efficient, which I don't. I do not care about being 100% efficient. I just talked about all the MVP stuff for those of you who do want to be super efficient. I highly recommend just slapping 3 Royal Navy ships in a fleet and go grind a mission. Bring whoever else you want and just play the game. That's how I recommend doing it. That's how I will be doing it. I've only really grinded for maybe 10 times. Yeah, I think I only grinded the mission maybe 10 times today, and I'm already at 14%. So, it's really not that bad. If you do have a good carry, the missions go by super quickly, and you'll be getting a lot of experience. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I hope this helped. I hope it wasn't super confusing. If it was, I apologize. But, yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. This is a horrible... outro. Like, I'm so bad at this. Oh my god.